In this video, it's a call to the bench, tearing down the cloak of the political immunity. This is aimed towards the judges out there across the map that has to sit in their courtroom and hear the case, convict the criminal, and then sentence them. There is examples of what not to do in this, as well as an example of a good judge, one that stood their ground, that took the victim serious and didn't let the public mask of the criminal become the cloak within the judicial system. At the end of it, there is a letter that I have wrote that I'm going to read. You can copy it down, you can type it up, you can use the specific wording that I have said, or you can switch it up. I've left it open for, in general, you can add the judge's name or whatever. You can send it to somebody local in your town, the town over, or across the map. If you see a judge that is very lenient in the sentencing, not putting the victim first, send them a letter. It's very important that they know that the world is watching. And sometimes that starts with you. First, for the judges, the robe that you wear is more than a garment. It is a shield for the vulnerable and the scale of truth. But for too long, in cases where the halls of power intersect with the exploitation of children, that scale has been tipped by the weight of the defendant's resume. Today, we call the American judiciary to the front to answer a chilling reality. When a politician is convicted of crimes against a child, the law often treats the offender service to society as a shield for their depravity. Judges, the time for slaps on the wrist is over. You are the final line of defense against the silencing of victims. To decide a sentence based on the distinguished career of a predator is not justice. It is a betrayal of the bench. A reoccurring tragedy in our courtrooms is the judicial tendency to view powerful men through the lens of their public persona rather than their private crimes. We see this in the rhetoric of judges who allow a politician's status to mitigate their punishment. An example is Judge Joseph Madensacker. In 2020, while sentencing former Pennsylvania State Senator Mike Vollmer for child pornography, Judge Madensacker described the convicted official as a good man who did bad things, ultimately handing down a sentence of just 1 to 2 years, allowing him to avoid state prison. By framing a predator as a good man, the judiciary implies that the harm done to children is a mere footnote to a career in public office. This cloaking tells the victim that their shattered life is worth less than a politician's reputation. The warning of Judge James G. Carr. In the case of former Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert, the court was limited by financial charges used to cover up his history as a child molester. However, the 15-month sentence handed down felt like a technicality rather than a reckoning. While Judge Carr vocally labeled Hastert as a serial child molester, the resulting time served did not reflect the gravity of the lifetime of abuse. The cost of leniency, silencing the trauma. When a judge prioritizes the severe impact a prison sentence might have on a high-status defendant, they are effectively telling the victim that their trauma should be endured in silence so that the predator may maintain a semblance of a life. The Persky precedent. Though not a politician, Judge Aaron Persky's sentencing of Brock Turner remains the ultimate warning. By worrying that a severe sentence would have a negative impact on the defendant, Persky ignored the permanent, life-altering impact on the victim. The public's response, a historic recall, showed that society will no longer accept a judiciary that sympathizes with the perpetrator over the survivor. The pattern of Judge Susan Crawford, criticized for multiple instances of lenient sentencing in child sexual assault cases, including the case of Curtis O'Brien. Crawford's record serves as a reminder that judicial discretion must not become a revolving door for those who commit the most heinous of betrayals. A different path, the requirement of moral courage. Justice requires looking past the donor list, the political endorsements, and the suit and tie decorum. It requires the courage shown by Judge Daniel Hovland in the 2025 sentencing of former North Dakota State Senator Ray Holmberg. Facing a powerful figure who traveled intentionally to exploit children, Judge Hovland did not settle for the minimum. He saw the assault on the dignity of the young boys for what it was and handed down a 10-year sentence, going above the recommendations of even the prosecutors. This is what it looks like when a judge takes the protection of society seriously. The demand? We demand a judiciary that, one, rejects status as mitigation. A politician's power should be an aggravating factor, not a mitigating one. They violated a unique public trust. 2, centers the victim. Sentencing should reflect the permanence of the victim's trauma, not the potential of the defendant's future. And 3, ends the cloaking. No more good men rhetoric for those who hunt the innocent. Judges, do not let your courtroom be the place where a child's cry for justice goes to die. Take the serious. Act for society. Sentence for the victims. And now, with that said, this letter is designed as a template for civic engagement. It is a firm principle and serves as a formal reminder to the judiciary that their primary duty is to protect the vulnerable, not the reputations of the powerful. At the top, the date. 2. The Honorable Judge, insert judge's last name, court, name of the court, case reference. You can enter the case name or docket number if it is known. and then read a public call for accountability and victim-centered justice. Your Honor, I am writing to you today not as a legal professional, but as a deeply concerned member of the public and a witness to the proceedings of your court. In our society, the courtroom is meant to be the final sanctuary for truth and the ultimate arbiter of justice. However, history has shown a troubling pattern. When individuals of political power and social status are convicted of heinous crimes against minors, the scales of justice often tilt towards leniency, cloaking the criminal in the respectability of their former office. I am writing to remind you that the community is watching. Your rulings in this case are not occurring in a vacuum. They are being noticed by the survivors of abuse, the families who look to the law for protection, and the public that is increasingly wary of a two-tiered justice system. We are watching to see if this court will prioritize the sterling reputation or of a predator or the shattered reality of the victim. For too long, the judiciary has allowed the professional achievements of politicians to mitigate the sentences of child predators. This is a profound error in judgment. A position of power is not a reason for mercy, it is an aggravating factor. When a leader exploits a minor, they have not only committed a crime, they have violated a sacred public trust. Using their status to suggest that they are a good person who made a mistake is a direct insult to the victim's trauma. The victim deserves the spotlight, not the criminal. I urge you to resist the narrative of the fallen leader. Do not let the defense center this trial on the defendant's loss of career or social standing. The only life that has been truly ruined is that of the survivor. Every month of leniency granted to a powerful offender is a message sent to the victim that their pain is secondary concern to the comfort of their abuser. Your legacy on the bench will be defined by the courage that you show in this moment. Do not be the judge whose name is remembered for helping to cloak a criminal or for providing a slap on the wrist that facilitates a cover-up. Be the judge who stands at the front, takes this crime with the seriousness it demands, and ensures that the law serves as a shield for the innocent rather than the cloak for the corrupt. Justice is only served when the punishment reflects the gravity of the betrayal. We expect nothing less than a sentence that honors the survivor and protects our society from those who use power as a weapon. Respectfully, your name, your city and state. And how to use that letter. You fill in the brackets. Make sure that where you need to put the judge's name, the case number, stuff like that, make sure that's filled out if possible. If not, you can just put the defendant's name. They will definitely know who you're talking about. And be consistent. If you are part of a group, having multiple people send this same letter creates a visual of public concern for the court. Civic duty. Sending such correspondences is a protected form of petitioning the government for a redress of grievances. I will have it put on the community tab as soon as I get a chance to. It might take me a day or so to get it over there. Have a good night, everybody, and Don't be afraid to stand up in court and let a judge know that they're being seen. Take it to the news, take it to social media. Let everybody know what is going on in your local courtrooms. It doesn't have to be against a politician or a religious leader or a teacher. It can be just the guy in the back alley. But when it comes to protecting our children, we have to make sure that the judges are the ones taking it serious, and then perhaps the rest of the world will.